Now, Brody had done really well. We left him 2 weeks. Now, he's not perfect, but if you look at him walking away, that's better than it was. Um, Walking towards, still a little bit heavier in front than I'd like. And he just carries his head a little bit low, but he's had this problem. He's had an underlying problem, I think, for quite a while, and then he got stuck in the mud. Um, and moving forwards, I'd like to see better shoulder movement. So where the shoulder blades swing, I'd like to see that better. Now trotting, he's much more in a straight line, and definitely improved. And the vet agreed as well. He is not perfect. We're not looking at a perfect horse here. So we decided to do another treatment under sedation, and this is him sedated, and I'm cradling his jaw, and then really extending the top of the neck and relaxing that, before then gently backing up under his chest and allowing him to lean onto me. By doing this and by getting nice and low, he's basically pushing his chest, his sternum down onto me, and that helps to start release tension sort of through what we call the thoracic sling, where the musculature that holds the front legs on. And then back to the back end, take up the tail and allow him to stretch away. Now you can see him rotating his body. So he's not taking what we call a straight pull. He's rotating his body to the right. So that means he's dropping his left buttock in order to rotate through his trunk to the right. And this is what he wants to do for this treatment. Now what you can't see is that's going right the way up through to what we call the thoracic sling, where the front legs attach to the chest. So he's rotating his body within that sling mechanism up front. So slightly different to how he started his treatment last time. And then he really much just wanted to sit back on me. And I'm glad I'm doing a voiceover for this, because all you would have heard otherwise is me grunting with several hundred kilo of small horse pushing back onto me. And I'm not mechanically in the best position, because he is just not quite tall enough for me, and that's not often I get to say that. Usually I'm struggling with the larger horses. And he's literally just pushing back, fidgeting somewhat, and then wanting me to move to the other side. And even though they're sedated, they will tell you very much what they want. They can react, and they can react extremely quickly if they don't like something. So I'm propping myself. I'm having to engage my own core, whilst he is sitting heavily back onto me, now on the right hand side of his pelvis. And I apologise for the light levels and that. As I say, these are all shot in real time whilst we're doing treatment, so we don't stage any of the treatments. These are edited parts of an entire treatment session, so that what you get to see is real stuff as it happens, or as it happened. And then again, going back into the top of the hamstrings and the back part of the gluteal muscles, before then reassessing. And the other lovely thing I like with these is you can look at how the coat sits, how the hairs of the coat sit, and from that you can really sort of see how the tension from the skin to the fascia to then the muscles, the superficial muscles, then the next layer of fascia, and then the deep muscles. So after all this, he then wanted to take more of a pull. And how we know this is, as you're working on them, they'll either work with you or they won't. So if they're not working with you, or you're working on one part and you think, yeah, actually I can still feel tension, often just go back onto the tail or onto the head and neck and see if they just want to carry on releasing more. And and what we were trying to capture here was the gluteal, the big bum muscles, which should be the engine of the horse, as they were just twitching and rippling. And it's really difficult to try and catch without actually disturbing it. And yes, he's got a decent amount of tail, so I could wrap my hands nicely into that and get good amount of friction to allow him to just stretch. And it is a sustained stretch that he's doing. He's not pulling a bit, coming off, pulling a bit and coming off. He's taking a solid stretch, but he's also being quite gentle, because he could pull me over with no trouble. And then after that, just working from the withers to the pole, just doing really gentle cranial osteopathy, to just release through that. And if you want to know more about cranial osteopathy, you can have a look at our textbook, Animal Osteopathy, a comprehensive guide to the treatment of animals and birds. And we included birds in the title so that people realise that they're included.